Welcome to the 2025 Headfirst Showcase Camps pre-camp webinar. Here's a brief overview of what we're going to cover in this pre-camp webinar. First, we'll give some brief introductions to our team, and then we'll dive into a little bit of what to expect at the two-day showcase schedule, and then how student athletes and families can prepare for camp in terms of coach communication and preparing to engage with coaches face-to-face while they're on site with us. First, some introductions. First up is Brendan Sullivan. Brendan is the founder and president of Headfirst. He played his college baseball at Stanford University, where he graduated after 3 years in 1996 and went on to be drafted by the San Diego Padres and played up through AAA in their organization and founded Headfirst in the offseason between some of his seasons in pro baseball. Jenna Orlando. Jenna is the director of operations. Jenna played her college softball at Lafayette, where she graduated in 2017 as a 4-year starter for the Leopards, a 2-time Patriot League academic honor roll, and was also selected as team captain her senior year. Next up is our Senior Associate of Operations, Caitlin Elwanger. Caitlin played college softball at Denison University, where she graduated in 2022. She played there for all 4 years and was a 3-year team captain, as well as a 3-year NFCA All-Academic All-American and a member of 2 National Honor Societies while she was there. Mike Rothstein. Many of you have probably spoken with Mike on the phone or exchanged emails with him. Mike is our Business Development and Customer Experience Fellow. He just finished his master's in sports management from NYU this past spring. Before that, he attended Florida Southern College, where he got a degree in history and social science and played baseball there. He also, notably, is a Headfirst Showcase Camp alumni. And then finally, there's me, Max McKenna. I'm our senior manager of marketing. I played my college baseball at Amherst College in Massachusetts, where I graduated in 2011. I went into teaching and coaching for a few years at the high school level before joining Headfirst full-time in 2014. And then one final introduction of a partner of ours, a partner, good friend of ours, is Diamond College Advisory Team, or DCAT. DCAT is a college advisory program that specifically focuses on high academic student athletes in baseball and softball who are looking to max out their on-field and also academic recruiting outcomes. They help student athletes and families navigate the recruiting process. They give the, as Justin says, the how to, what to, when to do, the next steps in the process in terms of coach communication, list building, setting your sights on the right colleges, and everything in between. They also provide feedback, support, and guidance, and really hands-on guidance through the process. And they have, all of their reps have experience on both sides of the recruiting desk as college coaches, as student athletes, and also as advisors for 20 plus years to help student athletes take the right next steps and avoid common mistakes in the recruiting process. Now, a brief overview of the 2-day camp schedule. On the morning of day 1, all players will arrive and check in, and they'll head to the all-camp meeting area. There will be a brief all-camp meeting for players and parents to introduce what's to come over the next 2 days at camp, introduce some of our team, etc. After that all-camp meeting breaks, players will go to stretch and get loose before the showcases, and there will be a parents-only meeting to follow where parents will have a chance to get their questions answered, a few more details about what to expect, and how they can help set their ball players up for success over the next 2 days. After players are warm and all the college coaches are sitting on the showcase field, we will head into the defensive showcase. During the defensive showcase, we'll group student athletes by their primary position or by their showcase position, and all position groups will rotate through the showcase field to showcase in front of all the college coaches on that one field defensively. During those rotations, there will also be a couple other steps along the way, namely players getting ready before they showcase, which is a really important piece, and also we'll be collecting objective measurements for all position players during that time as well. These will include overhand throwing velocity as well as 60-yard dash. These objective measurements are collected away from coaches, but then are sent to coaches both digitally and in a hard copy during and after camp. For pitchers only, for POs who do not want to showcase at a defensive position, there will be a pitcher power profile, which is some additional metrics like broad jump and some med ball tosses and vertical leap that give coaches more insight into your power output as a pitcher. So pitchers who don't want to participate in a defensive showcase or showcase at another position have the opportunity to go through that pitcher power profile during that defensive showcase rotation instead. After the defensive showcase wraps up, we'll head into the offensive showcase. Players will stay in those same positional groups as they rotate through the offensive showcase, again, with all the coaches watching that showcase field. During the offensive showcase, we'll also collect a handful more objective measurements, namely batted ball velocity off of a tee, which again is compiled and sent to college coaches during and after camp, both in hard copy and via email. In the afternoon and evening of day one, we'll start the gameplay. So the bulk of the afternoon of day one and then most of day two is dedicated to simulated games. Players will be assigned to teams and will be notified what team they're on via the mobile app, the Headfirst mobile app during the offensive showcase, and they'll expect to play in one game on day one and then two games on day two. The games are fairly traditional play, but there are some rules that we change to maximize opportunities and to facilitate action, including starting with the 1-1 count, always playing with fewer than 2 outs, so runners have the opportunity to take the extra base or steal or tag up on a sac fly, that kind of thing. And there's always defensive players looking to make the next play. Also, the batting order run continuously, so to really optimize and make sure that players get the same number of at-bats over the course of the 2 days. And then teams are balanced by defensive positions, by primary and secondary defensive positions. We come into the camp with draft teams, but then we finalize them based on the players that are on site with any last minute positional adjustments or folks who weren't able to come last minute, so that we can make sure that all players are as close as possible to balanced for primary and secondary position to make sure that players are getting the most possible playing time at their position during the games. In addition to the simulated games, to those games on day one, there will be a coach connection period as well. And this is a dedicated time when all the coaches are on the field and players have the chance to introduce themselves to college coaches, meet them face to face, express interest in their programs, and really get that direct access and have those direct conversations with college coaches. This is a dedicated portion of both day one and day two. A little later, we'll also talk about other ways in which players can make sure they're engaging with college coaches and really taking advantage of that access that they have directly to these college recruiters while they're on site at camp. On day two, the bulk of the day is really taken up by those two simulated games. So again, on day two, all players will play in 2 games, and arrival time will depend on your team assignment. There will be one wave of teams that arrives early and plays in game slots 1 and 3, and then there will be a wave of teams that arrives a little bit later and plays in game slots 2 and 4. In addition to these games, 2 games on day two, there also is some additional programming. There will be an additional dedicated coach connection period on day two in the middle of the day. And there also, upon arrival for each wave of teams, there's a panel and Q&A for parents about the recruiting process. So prior to each team's first game, while the players are getting loose, parents have the opportunity to connect with the DCAT team and the Headfirst team to get their questions answered about the recruiting process and anything that's on their mind in terms of questions or next steps or how they can help their ball player navigate the process. Now let's talk about how to prepare for camp from a college coach engagement and a recruiting perspective. So you see here, we think about how to prepare for camp and really coach engagement in 3 different phases. There's before camp, there's at camp, and there's after camp. So in the before camp phase, between now and when you arrive at your Headfirst event, the most important things that ball players can be doing is researching the school list, deciding or researching their own school list and comparing that to the schools that are attending and assessing what the schools are in attendance that are going to be the right fit for them, or maybe finding some new schools that weren't already on their list that could be a great fit. And very key, doing some email outreach to those coaches prior to camp saying, "Hey coach, I'm really excited to meet you face to face. My name is Max McKenna. I'm really interested in Emory and I'm going to be at the Headfirst event and I'd love to talk to you about your program." Doing that email outreach between now and camp is a really good idea and it's a really good way to get on college coaches' radars so that when you meet them at camp, when you have the chance to shake their hand or meet them face to face, you can say, "Hey coach, I'm really interested in your program. I sent you an email. My name is this," so that they're putting a face to a name. For that email outreach, a couple key things to think about. One is you certainly don't want to be doing email outreach to every coach that is attending. You should be intentional about reaching out to schools that are potentially the right fit for you. So working from your school list and the schools that are on your list and emailing those schools is a really important first filter. Second, make sure that you are personalizing these emails. These coaches get a lot of emails from prospective student athletes, and one of the best ways to stand out in their crowded inbox is by personalizing it and saying, not just, hey, coach, I'm interested in your program, but hey, Coach Perez, I'm interested in Emory because I love the city of Atlanta and I know that you have a great business school and I'm really interested in pursuing that, right? So tailor these emails to the programs that you're reaching out to and tailor them based on your genuine support for or genuine interest in those programs and why you are interested in that program in particular. Next is at camp. And you see there the three keys to success for at camp is engage, engage, engage. It's really important that while you're at a Headfirst event to take advantage of the opportunity that you have for this direct access to college coaches. Have these conversations with college coaches, express your interest in their programs, meet them face to face. They can get a sense of who you are as a player and you can get a sense of their coaching style. So that idea, that face-to-face contact is so important for coaches to be able to get a sense of who you are as a player. And so really taking advantage of that opportunity while you're on site is a really key piece of the programming. And we certainly encourage players to take as much advantage of that as they can while they're with us. Now, that being said, we know that approaching a college coach at your dream school and having a conversation and saying, hey, coach, I'm interested in your school. Do you like me? Can be very nerve wracking for student athletes. So there's a lot of camp programming and also Headfirst team support to help student athletes broach these conversations and approach these conversations. First, as I mentioned, there is dedicated time on both days of camp during those coach connection periods where it's set aside so that players can have these conversations, right? You don't have to be chasing a coach across the facility because there's dedicated time when you can have these conversations. So that's from the programming angle. That's one really important piece. Another is that's not the only time that you can talk to college coaches. During all the games you play, there will be college coaches on your field and in your dugout. Take advantage of those opportunities to connect with college coaches as well. Sometimes these conversations can be easier to start because instead of starting a conversation in isolation during the coach connection period and saying, hey, coach, I'm really interested in your program. Do you like me? You can start it around the game of baseball. And you can say, hey, Coach Perez, how do you teach two-strike hitting? How do you coach two-strike hitting approach in your program? You know, I got down 1-2 in that last at bat, and I'm curious how you work with your players on that sort of situation, right? If you start the conversation around the game of baseball, sometimes they can be easier to start and feel less intimidating. And it also gives coaches a really good sense of your coachability, your appetite for growth, your appetite for development, and that you want to keep getting better as a player. So take advantage of all the aspects of the camp programming where you can have these conversations, including the coach connection period, but also including some of the other opportunities in the dugout, on the field, around the facility for the 2 days. Take advantage of every opportunity that you have while you're there. There's also a lot of Headfirst support that is available to student athletes. During the coach connection period, our Headfirst team is around the facility, and we can help players find the coaches if they don't see them right away, or give them some tips and tricks on how to start and approach these conversations. So if you or your player have any questions about how to engage, how to best engage with college coaches while they're with us, please use us as a resource. We are happy to help answer questions, help you find the coach, help you think about what to say, help you practice those conversations. There's a lot of support from the Headfirst team while you're there to make sure that players are set up for success as they pursue those conversations. And then finally, there's after camp. Really important piece of the puzzle here is following up with coaches that you had the chance to connect with after camp via email, via handwritten letter, via social media. This experience that you have, this 2-day experience at Headfirst event, is not a standalone event that lives in a vacuum, right? It is really important that you view it as a platform, as a part of your recruiting process, rather than a standalone event where you show up on day one having done no outreach to college coaches and you leave on day two, and anything that happens in between is great. After camp, it is absolutely crucial that you follow up with the coaches that you emailed beforehand, that you met on site, send them a thank you note, follow up and say, hey, coach, Thank you so much for the conversation. I'm really interested in your program, even more so now after getting a sense of how you coach and how you approach the game. And I'd love to see what my next steps are with your program. Send those follow-up notes in the week or so after camp. And again, express your gratitude and express your interest and use it as a way to stay in touch with these coaches and using your at-camp experience to inform what you are able to say and follow up with. Some important notes about recruiting conversations and the NCAA calendar while you're on site at camp. So there is a rule in the NCAA where Division I coaches cannot have quote unquote recruiting specific conversations with players until August 1st before their junior year. So what does this mean at camp? For the class of 2026, that is rising high school seniors, you are eligible to have in-person recruiting conversations with Division I, Division II, Division III through the whole summer. You can talk to a college coach about your recruiting process, your scholarship. You can walk up to a coach and say, hey, coach, I'm really interested in your program and I'd love to talk turkey. And they can say, great, Max, it's great to meet you. Let's talk about your scholarship or your admissions process or how I'm going to work with admissions to get you through the door. You can have any of these recruiting specific conversations with college coaches over the course of the summer. Because of this, we will give 2026 student athletes a wristband at check-in to indicate their grad year to college coaches. This will just serve as a visual marker for college coaches that when a player is walking up to them, they can give a quick check to see, okay, this is a player with whom I can have these recruiting specific conversations and talk about the specific details of what it looks like for them to play at my program. For the class of 2027 and younger, that is rising juniors and sophomores, it's a little bit different. So for the class of 2027, beginning on August 1st of this coming summer, the class of 2027 can also have recruiting specific conversations with Division I coaches. Prior to that, if you were to walk up to a Division I coach as a 2027 or a 2028 grad, you are limited in what they can say back to you. You can still express interest in their program. You can still talk about their program. You can talk about the game of baseball. You can talk about your coaching, your development, your improvement, get some instruction and feedback. But you can't walk up to a Division I coach and say, hey, coach, I'm really interested in Duke. Can we talk about my spot in your program, right? They are limited in what they can say. They can't talk about scholarships or sending sending your admissions portfolio over to admissions. They can't talk about those specific things until August 1st of your junior year. So this certainly does not mean, though, that the class of 2027 and 2028 and 2029 cannot have conversations with Division I college coaches or with any college coaches when they're at camp. It's just a different nature of the conversation. So for underclassmen to approach these conversations, you absolutely still want to take advantage of the opportunity that you have on site to talk with college coaches and connect with them and meet them face to face. You just need to phrase those conversations maybe a little bit differently. What you can start with is start with some introductions, introduce yourself, who you are, where you're coming from, why you're interested in their program. And you can also certainly still get instruction and feedback and focus on your improvement and development of your game. This is a really important piece of the puzzle because it still gives coaches a really good sense of who you are as a player and also expresses your coachability, who you are as a player. Your appetite for development and improvement is a really important intangible that college coaches are looking for, and this gives you the opportunity to demonstrate that in those conversations. So certainly pursue conversations while you're at camp. Just know that college coaches might be at the Division I level. There will be some who are limited with what they can say back to you until August 1st prior to your junior year. Some notes about some partners and logistics. So Headfirst, we work with Book Your Block and we operate a state of play policy. Book Your Block secures hotel partners close to the venue and get you some great rates on your hotels. So we do ask that you book your hotel directly through Book Your Block. To get to their website to see those options, if you go to the Headfirst website, headfirstshowcase.com, and then across the top, there is an enrolled athletes tab, and you click on travel planning :baseball from the drop-down menu, that will get you to where you need to go. You'll see session-specific links that take you to the hotel booking pages. If you are staying with a relative, or if you live close enough that you don't need a hotel, or another reason for an exemption, you can submit a hotel booking exemption request by emailing that website or that email address, guestdocs@bookyourblock.com, which you can also find on that enrolled athletes page, that logistics and hotel page on the Headfirst website. Really important note for on-site. I mentioned this earlier. We will be doing all of our camp communication through the Headfirst mobile app. So we do ask that all families and players download this prior to arriving at camp so that they have access to all of this messaging. So if you go to the App Store, search for Headfirst Honor Roll, click download, and then you're going to open the app and press enter passphrase. Your session specific passphrase is in the pre-camp email that you have received prior to camp. Enter that, download the guide, and that will give you access to the confirmed coaches list right there in the app. It will also set you up so you can receive push notifications, because anything that we need to communicate to families while we're on site will go out through this mobile app as an update and or as a push notification. So please do download that prior to camp so that you have access to all that great information. And then our video partner, RealPlay. So we work with RealPlay to provide families with the option of purchasing video from camp. The video package includes your defensive showcase footage, your offensive showcase footage, as well as all of your gameplay from multiple angles. This includes the innings that you pitched. It includes your at-bats. It includes plays in the field. All these things professionally edited, put into a clip for just you. So you get your link that just has your clips that you can then use and put on your YouTube page or put on your Twitter or put in your Sports Recruits profile. The video is delivered, will be available within 10 days of camp in an easy to share format so that you can put it where you need it to most effectively advance your recruiting process. Many of you have probably purchased the RealPlay video package as part of your registration. If so, if you've already purchased, you will receive information directly from RealPlay prior to your session about how to access your video, as well as a timeline for when you'll be able to access your video. If you have not purchased video, but you would like to, you can email us, showcase@headfirst.com, and we will be able to add that to your registration. And also, there are links in the pre-camp webinar, or the pre-camp email rather, that will take you directly where you can purchase RealPlay directly through our portal. So you can also add it yourself if that's easier for you. And finally, this is certainly not your first, last, or only chance to find out what to expect when you're on site at camp. So if you still have questions about your Headfirst experience, or how to best prepare, or what college coaches you should be emailing, or how you should email them, feel free to use us as a resource. Please, you can reach us by email at showcase@headfirst.com or by phone at 202-715-6654. I also would advise that you take a look at our blog as well as our social media for interviews that we do with college coaches, tips and tricks and content that we generate about the recruiting process to help families navigate what we know can be a pretty overwhelming process sometimes. So you can reach our blog at headfirstshowcase.com/blog, and then you can find us on Instagram at headfirstshowcase and on Twitter at headfirsthroll. Please follow us there and stay tuned for more information coming on those. Thank you all so much for watching this pre-camp webinar, and we look forward to seeing you at a Headfirst Showcase camp soon.